she accept our condolences, for
Yeah,
the and to the family and loved ones as well. Right. Okay. So we move on to Ruben Amorim.
yeah, yeah.
Was that a shock? I know you said Enzo Maresca wasn't a shock. Was that a shock?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I don't know whether you saw the other day. It was after the last weekend's game, wasn't it? I'm just looking to
Yeah.
see what their score was. It
I think it was a draw. Was it
was it a
1-1?
draw?
Was it 1
Oh
all?
yeah, with Leeds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
1-1 with Leeds, and
Yeah.
they also drew last night at Burnley as well.
Yeah.
But after the game at the weekend, I don't know whether you saw, but
I
he
did.
came out in the press conference and he was, I guess you'd say, very critical of the system. And he said, "I came here to Old Trafford as a manager, not a head coach." This obviously
Mm,
bothered him, but
mm.
actually, having looked at that a little bit, I think he was hired as a head coach. That was the title he got. As
All
quite a
right.
few managers are now style head coach, but of course the inference of that is that they don't particularly have control over the transfers. That there's a director of football. I think in the case at Man United, it was perhaps Jason Wilcox. He was one of the guys. So that all that stuff, I suppose the theory is you just leave the manager to head his coaching team and don't let him have to worry about negotiating transfer fees or this, that, and the other. But the other side of that is that most managers want to say in which players come to the club. So he seemed to be very firm on this idea. I want to be referred to as the manager, not the head coach. And I think he went on to be quite critical of the owners of the board and certainly of the director of football and one or two of the others alongside. So it was like a suicide note, really. There's no way that the club, given the recent activities there of sacking lots of staff and trying to get the finances straight, and a lot of dissatisfaction with Amorim's style of football. It was a bit of a strange. His tactics were a bit strange, and I don't think the players always adapted to what he wanted. And sometimes he would change tactics mid-game if it wasn't working. And for my part, I mean, I used to listen to him talk after games, and he's obviously a bright guy. He likes his football. So yeah, something clearly went wrong, and I guess maybe I would have thought he would have known. He came along there as head coach, not as manager. So it's not for him to then say, "No, you must now consider me the manager." But I think he, as I say, wanted a say in what players came to the club. So yeah, there was no way back for him. I don't know whether you heard what he said the other day, but it
I
was
did.
such a came so strongly from him, such dissatisfaction that it was as if he knew the end was coming, or if it wasn't, he wanted to engineer the end. Because I think, I think he's walked away with. I was listening yesterday. It's either 10 or 14 million pounds. I mean, it's a great job, um, managers in Premier League football, isn't it? Because if you're mediocre, and I'm not saying he was, but generally, if you're mediocre or you fail, you walk away with millions of pounds because you've invariably been signed on a contract for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So if they sack you, they got to generally you negotiate it, but they will pay up a lot of that outstanding contract. So yeah, we don't need to weep too much for these football managers who walk away into the sunset with a bag load of money. In
Mm.
fact, with Anmarim, I was reading this morning that that I think approaches have been made to him because he's Portuguese, isn't he? From his home club of
Mm.
Benfica. I think it looks like they want him to manage. So not only is he now mega rich, if he wasn't before, which he probably was, but he's now got another nice job by the sound of it. It's probably not confirmed yet with Benfica, who obviously have a great history as a club as well.
Yeah. Wow. Now Darren Fletcher. What do we make of him? I mean, I know he's interim, but we never know. It might be made permanent. We don't know that, do we? Not yet, anyway. But what do we make of Darren Fletcher?
Well, he was a very loyal servant as a footballer for Manchester
Yeah.
United under Alex Ferguson. And in fact, I remember a few years ago now, he
Mm,
actually developed a health problem. I don't know if you remember that, but he was a regular player. I think sometimes he came on as a substitute, but he obviously started some games as well. And I believe Alex Ferguson rated him pretty highly. He
mm,
never seemed to be grouped in the what they used to call the class of '96 with Beckham and Neville and Paul Scholes. There was that bunch of players who were, grouped together. And I don't remember Darren Fletcher being part of that. Either he was a bit older, maybe he was a bit older or even a bit younger, but I don't know. But obviously he played at the same time as a lot of those players, and he was a good midfielder. But he developed this illness, which I think I won't say any more about it, except I believe it was bowel related, and he it sometimes caused him problems during matches. So that's that sort of at the time. I think he was. Alex Ferguson said, "Oh no, we still want you," and I think he kind of worked his way through that. And I
mm.
don't ever recall there being any particular problems. But in fact, recently as well, I think his son plays somewhere. I don't know whether it is at Manchester United. It might be, but he's also a 18 or 19-year-old, I think, because they showed his parents, Darren and his wife, in the crowd wherever this
Mm.
was a few weeks ago. So his son is obviously a footballer too. My own opinion is I don't think he will get the manager's job. I mean, the bookies have created odds that put him quite near the top, but I don't think they will go for someone who's completely untried and untested. Ironically, the after him, the next most favourite with the bookies was Oliver Glasner. Now, yeah, in some ways it wouldn't surprise me if he went there. In other, it would. I'm not sure it would be the right time for him to to go there. Having said that,